everyone. So a while back on my Instagram I did write a Flying with Kids blog on my stories and I put it in my highlights. So if you wanted to have a little read of it before you wanted to go through and listen to me chatting away about flying with kids, then go ahead. But yeah, so I wrote a blog about flying with children, and this was because I had a few people after holiday come to me or write to me and tell me more information about it, because some of them were quite stressed out about taking the young kids for the first time on a long haul flight, and I have done it quite a few times now, so I am used to how I can deal with them, how Jim can deal with them, you know, what we do on our flight, you know, just anything to make it as easy as pleasant as it can be for long haul. I mean, when we first took Georgia in, okay, I don't know what year it was, but she was about 9 months, and we was obviously first time parents and we had no idea what to do. Like literally we was just as stressed out as you can imagine, because you know we've been to Florida before with our kids before they was born, and you know it's easy because you can just sit there, watch telly, you know, you have no care in the world. But then when kids come along, it's just a different story, and you got to play it differently. You can't sit there and watch telly, you know, as you used to. You just can't. So for us taking Georgia when she was that young, we did feel very, not insecure, but we just felt very vulnerable, because you know we were scared of how people would react, if she was going to cry, if she was going to moan, you know, all this stuff comes through you into your head, and you just, I don't know, it just makes you feel very scared and just, yeah, anyway. But we had quite a bad flight for her the very first time we went out there, because it wasn't actually on the way there. On the way there was fine, but on the way back she screamed, cried, and literally everyone on the aeroplane was like, you know, how they just sort of like look and huff and puff. And sometimes I feel like maybe you just overthink it and you think, oh, they're just moaning because of the kids, or you know, but they're not, they're just huffing and puffing. But no, we actually done the worst mistake of trying to get her to sleep. And I always say now, never try and put them to sleep. If they sleep, they sleep, that's great. But if they don't, then don't stress about it. Don't, you know, because that was what we did. We just, you know, we laid her down and she didn't like it. And, you know, we tried to pat her and she didn't like it. And she just screamed. So I always tell people that if they ever ask me, you know, any tips about flying, just don't put them to sleep. And being first time parents, like, it can be really hard. I mean, because you don't know what you're doing. It's, you know, it's a first time for everyone, and I don't know if that's why some people leave it longer to go with kids to Florida. And everyone's in the same boat. You might get, I don't know, Fred coming in, sitting down, and he's got one of them coughs that just keeps coughing and he can't stop. It's so tickly. What can you do? It's just, you know, everyone's in the same position as you, so don't feel like you are being like the bad mum. So here are some things that we like to do just to make it a bit more easier for us. So we always like to stay overnight before travel day. It's just worked out better this way. You don't have to think about leaving in the morning. You don't have to think about, oh, you're going to oversleep, or, you know, the kids are going to, if you've got like an early flight, like you don't have to leave like early hours in the morning. You're there. You don't have to worry about getting to your destination. You're there. So your focus is getting up and just getting the kids ready, make sure they have their breakfast and they can have a little run around, not sitting in the car for the whole, I don't know how many hours it takes you to get to the airport. So we like to do that, and we also like to make sure that we get an early flight as possible, so it just works out better for us for when we get to Florida time. So we usually fly around 9ish if we can, UK time, and then we usually get to like Florida about 2-3 o'clock, and it just works out for us. Like we've had a late flight before at 11 and it didn't really feel as good. Like we felt a bit more tired, and I don't know, it just suits us better flying at 9 o'clock. And on the way home we like to fly as late as possible, because then during the flight it's night time from Florida and the kids can sleep, and hopefully, fingers crossed, if they do want to sleep, they'll sleep for the whole flight. So I don't really overpack on toys or anything when I'm packing their hand luggage. I just make sure I've got some colouring books, iPad if you know, because Georgia likes going on an iPad, so I pack the iPad. I might pack like a toy that does the whole, you know, talking in it, because I don't know, some people might get put off of taking toys that talk loud in it, but no one can really hear it when you've got the aeroplane engine going. So yeah, I pack a toy like that where there's loads of buttons for her to press. What else do I pack? I don't really go mad on the food until we get to the airport. We buy all the food when we get there. So I might just buy some dry biscuits and dry crisps, just, you know, like the baby stuff, and you know, I might buy some, I don't know, some quavers or something for Georgia. And what else do I pack in the bag? What else do I pack? Oh, I'll pack some earphones for Georgia, because sometimes the ones that you get on the aeroplane, she don't like them in her ear. So she likes to take her own earphones. So I don't know. Yeah, so she hates things in her ears and only likes to wear her own earphones. So that's just something that we take as well with us. What else do we take? Obviously, like if you've got a baby, nappies, wipes, you know, all the stuff that you would pack in a nappy bag. But I do pack more nappies than what I would do if I was going out, because you just never know, do you? You never know if they're gonna have a big massive poo or how many times they're gonna go. So I always like to make precautions and pack loads of nappies. And I also like to pack spare clothes. For another reason, you just don't know, do you? You don't know whether they're gonna be sick on you, or I don't know if you've got a sicky baby that's got colic, I don't know. Oh, I also pack a, not a baby grow, what are they called, like the sleep grows, you know, the little sleeping bags that they sleep in. I always pack one of them for Penny, because on the way home, I just put it on her, just give her a little bit of that comfort from home. And I think sometimes we didn't do that on the first time we went out of Georgia, so that might be another reason why it's a little bit more easier for us now. But so if you've got a really young baby that's not walking, you can take on one of them little baby carriers that you put over your chest and the baby can go in. So my friend let me borrow her one last year, because Penny weren't last year, it was February. So February that's just gone, we took Penny in the baby carrier because she weren't walking. And I know sometimes when you get to the airport, it's a bit, you know, everyone's like running around like headless chickens, people trying to get their cases, and when you haven't got your buggy yet, you know, it's just easier for them to be in there, and then you've got your hands free and you can just help, or you can just make sure if you've got more than one kid, you can just make sure that they're all right. And yeah, so having one of them helped me so much in February. So it is good to do. And the most annoying thing that we absolutely don't like about the airport is the buggy is the last thing to go in, and it's never the last thing to come out. I mean, it is the last thing to come out. So you get all your cases and you've got a baby, or could have twins, and you have no buggy to put them in because they always bring them out last. And it's just like, why? We need the buggies to put them in. Just I don't know. I don't know if it's common sense or whatever, but we was thinking about writing to Gatwick, because it happened in Gatwick last month, and which is really good now. Georgia will sit on the aeroplane and she will watch telly, watch her iPad, just relax. The only times that she will get up is if she needs a toilet, and I don't know if it's just 5-year-olds, like they need to go there all the time. well, not all the time, but it's like every hour, I need a wee, I need to go wee, I need to go wee, you know what it's like. But yeah, so she's really good at sitting there and listening